Cheers, I do buckaroos, and welcome to the first installment of this new year, 2022. Let me specify the year. Anyways, 5 songs at the pub with the beer whisperer. I've decided to focus on a single artist, this being Nathan Bryce and Loaded Dice. So anyway, I've got 2 beers I'm going to share with you. The first being from O'Fallon Brewing, Strawberry Chocolate Ale, Guilty Pleasure. Anyway, they've done a cherry chocolate for years and years. I haven't seen the strawberry chocolate before, just in time for Valentine's Day, I suppose. I did have one last night, though, and I gotta say it was rather impressive. Mostly because it's not as sweet as the name would imply, right? A lot of these specialty ales tend to get very sweet. This one focuses on the tartness of the strawberry and not the sweetness, which really makes it absolutely delicious because you feel those beautiful dark and malted chocolate notes. Let me show you how beautiful that pours, too. 5.7%. The first song playing of the 5 songs is Last Call. I don't know if I need to turn that up. I never can tell how much is coming through, but I'm gonna kick it up a couple notches. Dust to dust. We got a little chill here in the Ozarks. We got some snow the other day. I took a work snow day on Thursday. I had the opportunity to take one Friday, but I decided to go ahead and go in anyway because it was a shorter day. It was just an office day, basically. And Saturday, here we are Saturday. It's just cold out there right now. It's been gradually moving forward. We are technically above freezing, but with the wind chill, yeah, it's not. So I thought about wanting to get out today, but I've kind of decided against it at this point. I don't want to get out there, man. I want to put clothes on. Just wearing some sweats and an old t-shirt. That's all we're doing today, man. The guitar work is just insane on this tune, if you were able to hear it above my talking. I've seen them, but it's been several years, and they were actually in town last night. But again, with the weather and everything else, I didn't make the show. But it did put me in the mood to listen to his music, so I cranked it on my Spotify today and chose 5 songs to put on this list. Again, you do feel chocolate on the nose, but what you feel is that tart strawberry, not the sweetness, but the tartness of the berry. And I can't tell you how glad I am that they went with strawberry, not raspberry. I can't express. Cheers. Yeah, again, and you feel those chocolate notes, but it doesn't come at you in a sweet way either. This thing is balanced just impeccably well. Because I feel hints of dark chocolate, little malted chocolate. And then you get to that finish, and then again that tart strawberry comes out. Ah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's that slight tartness of that berry. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they've really captured it here. I'm really impressed. As in many cases, for me anyway, these beers tend to be very cloyingly sweet, and they've just put this one together so amazingly well. Boombox is song number 2. Feeling a little bit in a rock mood, you see. A little rock blues rock. Yeah, just a little rocky. Little bluesy, little rocky. Kind of mood I was in this morning. I go back and forth. Sometimes I've been listening to a lot of jazz lately as well, but today I was feeling it, man. I still need to get up to Springfield Brewing Company to pick up last year's mug, and I also joined the Tie and Timber Mug Club. But the weather hasn't, between work and weather, just haven't been able to get to either. I know we're only a week in. I mean, I get that, but still. Song number 2, Boombox, here on the Beer Whisperer Radio. I am your host, I'm the Beer Whisperer. Anyway, I digress. Sorry about that. Sometimes I flip into DJ voice. My youngest brother, was actually trained as a DJ. Worked in Springfield for a short time as a DJ. And he was good. He was very good. But he decided, to take a different career path. And actually ended up, paying him more money and have better benefits in the radio business. But he was good. He was very good at it. He went by Billy Bones, because that was his nickname as a kid, Billy Bones. So his DJ name was Billy Bones. He was very good though, man. But this neck of the woods is a little different, right? And commercial radio isn't what it once was, anyway. But it's a very cliquish neck of the woods, and not being from here, it kind of had a hard time getting in. You almost have to know somebody. I really appreciate how this has a dry finish, because again, a lot of these beers tend to be extremely sweet, but because you've got that tart strawberry, it really helps bring it back. It doesn't let it get too sweet at any point in time. Some of these songs are longer. I might need to go 3 beers for this particular 5-song set. Yeah, it kind of depends on the artist or the theme I'm going with, because I've done some 5 songs that have been under 15 minutes, and some have been over 20. I didn't look to see how long this one was, but it feels like it's going to be a little longer, because most of these songs tend to be a little longer. I can't remember which artist I used now that it was over 25 minutes. But again, like I said, some of the themes, some artists, you're talking 15 minutes. So. Nice little wah-wah going there. You don't hear that very often anymore. It's nice to hear it every once in a while. Oh. I love that strawberry on the nose, though. I gotta tell you, again, it's that tart strawberry, not a sweet berry aroma, and it just brilliant, because it balances that chocolate nose real well. Excuse me. Gives you that illusion of that chocolate dipped strawberry. By golly, that is good though. Man, this beer is really something. My wife actually picked it up. She was out doing some shopping yesterday while I was working, and she found it, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell? Pick it up." O'Fallon is known for that cherry chocolate. It is one of their very popular specialty ales, but I hadn't seen the strawberry version. Roll the Dice. This is probably my favorite Nathan Bryce tune in all honesty, even though I like a lot of them. There's something about this one kind of speaks to me. The lyrics, the music, it's got that driving beat, that the Beer Whisperer likes. That I like, man, I like that. Damned if I don't. I love this tune. Anyway, song number 3. Let me finish this beer. I'll go to beer number 2. The second beer, changing gears slightly, going to a lager, but maybe not the way you think of a lager. Double Kettle Doppelbock at 7%. Yeah, friends. A Doppelbock is a lager. A lager isn't always an American adjunct lager, and it's sometimes hard to make folks understand that. A lager's going a lot of different directions. This one from Piney River. So I've got two Missouri beers. One near O'Fallon near the St. Louis area, and then Piney River, Bucyrus, not near anything. Out in the middle of no damn place. Yeah, I mean, it's about 15 minutes out of Houston, Missouri, which really isn't much of a town either. There we go. Let me show you this beer. It's my right-handed mug, because I have to hold it with my right hand for you to see the pheasant there. That pours beautifully, doesn't it? Just a gorgeous doppel. It's got that beautiful malty Doppelbock nose that you would expect from a doppel. Not a beer style that you would typically pick up fruit notes from. Not a beer style that you would typically leave fruity esters. However, the however is that as of late it seems like everything has to taste like fruit. So I've even noticed, classic beer sites that have changed their description of the doppel to include fruit notes like plum and/or raisin. Again, that really depends on how you feel. I don't like to tell people they're wrong, because how you feel it is how you feel it. What you taste is what you taste. So how can somebody be wrong if that's what they taste? But yeah, it is a malty classic. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, this beer is just brilliant. 7%. Many American versions go 8 and above on this style. This one at 7's a little lighter than most, but it is put together so impeccably well that I'm going to let them slide a minute. Anyway, cheers. Roll the Dice. I love that tune, man. There's just something about that song that speaks to me. It's a traveling song, right? I mean, it's a great road tune. It's one of those you're driving, you just be singing. Next thing you started out doing 50. Next thing you know, you're doing 75. Lights are behind you. Maybe it's just me. Be Good, song number 4. Nathan Bryce and Loaded Dice. I have to slow down on this beer, man. I'm running out of beer, and I've got another song to go. I like doing these 5 songs. Because sometimes the video shouldn't be just about the beer. I get it, but I don't refer to myself as a beer reviewer. So I get beer reviewers who want to focus on just that beer. They like to keep it serious. I tend to talk in a monotone voice, which is fine, but it's just not what I do. It's just not what I do. It's not what I've ever done. So I've always wanted to do this kind of pub-like atmosphere, and I think for me, I started doing this series of 5 songs to try to, the balance of the music and the beer, how one plays off the other. And like you were in a pub listening to some music, you're talking to a friend, you're having a beer, how it all kind of comes together and creates that atmosphere. It's the music and the beer that creates the atmosphere. For me, anyway, I suppose. I guess I should say. I should qualify that, yeah. But this really is a brilliantly done Doppelbock, and I'm not surprised, because it kind of is. It kind of is what Piney River does. I mean, they're known for making just solid beer styles. With craft beer changing the way it has, especially lately, I can see with their new lineup that they are trying to make some adjustments. But in my opinion, is when they do classic styles like this, is when Piney River hits it out of the park, and they hit it out of the park every time. If you can't be good at it. Now that is some sage advice. That is some sage advice. That's taken right out of my playbook. Anyway, I digress. I don't have a fire going yet. We're running low on wood, so I thought about starting one, and then maybe I'll wait a little bit. Wait till the sun starts going down, then we'll, then we'll start one up. Cause I'd be out of wood by 3 o'clock. If I put one in there now, man. And I don't want that to happen. But I decided I wanted to crank the music, so sometimes I do the videos in my kitchen, but then I got to turn up the music real loud, and my wife's got her earbuds in, but if I've got to crank it loud enough so it's audible in the kitchen, I got to put it up pretty loud. So just using my fireplace, the brick, it's a nice brick background here. Sitting in my rocking chair instead of my usual beat up dad chair there. And our last song, where are we at the last song, Tom? Yeah, song number 5, Honey Mouth with Bryce, Little Dice on the Beer Whisperer Radio. Anyway, you guys have heard me say this before, but my favorite DJ of all time is Jim Ladd. A lot of reasons for that, mostly because he's just the best DJ that ever lived. But a lot of the reason for that is he's the DJ that I grew up with. Of course, I grew up with a lot of others, but Jim Ladd was the guy. Jim Ladd was the guy that we all listened to when we were allowed to stay up on the weekends late, because he did that 10 to 2 show. Friday nights, man, I'd be in my room listening to that from 10 to 2, man. Jim Ladd, the great thing about Ladd is you never knew what you were going to get. Everybody else was playing the songs that you knew you were going to hear. But Jim Ladd was known for playing the second song on the B-side, right? You just never knew what he was going to play. He would play the artists that you knew, but the songs were, he was going to change up. He wasn't playing necessarily the radio-friendly songs. He was playing the songs that you went to the concerts to hear, right? He was playing that album rock that just doesn't get played anymore. And then he was, he didn't necessarily talk a lot. He wasn't one of the DJs that really talked a lot all the time. But there'd be interludes, right? Sometimes, he'd play 3 or 4 songs, and then he might talk for 5 minutes or so. Right? The thing is, you never knew what he was going to say. And I remember being a 14, 15-year-old kid just cracking up because he was saying things you just didn't say at the time. I mean, he wasn't necessarily going over the line, there wasn't cussing, but he was talking about subject matters that really weren't always talked about, especially, again, being a 15-year-old kid in the 70s, into the early 80s, I suppose. He talked about smoking certain herbs a lot. Stories, along those lines. Jim Ladd, the best DJ ever. And then there was also going up to California. There was the Burner Mary Turner, one of the first really big female DJs that came out of the 70s. The Burner Mary Turner, anyway. She was great. Oh. It almost has that cigar malt-like aroma, if that makes sense to you. You kind of feel some tannins, almost leather-like notes. I just love the style. I love the Doppelbock. And this is just a brilliantly done American version of My Song's Almost Over, because my Up Next popped and it's a different artist. So anyway, and we're right about 20 minutes. So I figured it about right this time. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, for beer wisdom, and all around good guy. Cheers.